appeared at moments of crisis in the church, offered an irresistible narrative. Cometh the hour, cometh the man. I cringe now that I even likened him to a gaucho riding out at first light. 6 years on, the time for such projections is over. We know too much about the limits of reform, paths blocked, resistance mobilized, mistakes made. No longer the great reformer of myth, he is the wounded shepherd. To be chosen by the Holy Spirit is not to be spared the trials of history. Spending time with him, I found him to be smaller, older, more vulnerable, more ordinary than in my mind's eye. I was meeting the person, not the personality. Yet here's the thing. I also met His Holiness. I saw it in the pauses, when he was listening to his heart, to those prompts of the Spirit that guide him. I saw it in his serenity, his peaceful freedom. It is a paradoxical quality, self-effacing yet powerful, something you have but also give away. It left me feeling loved and free. I met the Pope, in short, in all his ordinary humanity, yet at the same time was captivated by the extraordinary quality of what he was open to, of what he puts at the center of his existence. And I got the point he wanted me to understand. The real center of the Church, he told journalists shortly after his election, was not the Pope, but Jesus Christ. What follows is the story of Francis's attempt to put Christ at the Church's center. Even though it ranges widely and deeply to explain the change that Francis seeks to bring about, Wounded Shepherd is not systematic, episodic, or chronological. There are big gaps on topics such as diplomacy and ecumenism, which an official account would need to cover. Its focus rather is on the conversion that Francis has sought, where it comes from, what it is, and why it has triggered such turbulence. It is the story as much of his opening of the Church to the possibility of conversion as it is of the changes he has sought to bring about. A metaphor to capture this came in a moment of inspiration to one of my Latin American interviewees, as we sat talking in his house. I was with the Archbishop of Arequipa in southern Peru in April 2016, the day after the release of Francis's document on marriage and family, Amoris Laetitia, the joy of love. As Archbishop Javier del Rio Alba explained his understanding of the pastoral conversion to which the Pope is calling the Church, I looked beyond his shoulder through the window to the spectacular snow-capped volcano of El Misti. Following my gaze, he suddenly said, "What the Pope is doing is like an earthquake, a tremor, which is moving and shaking things up. And in that shaking up, what will fall is what has to fall. And what will rise up is a new era in the history of the Church." Chapter 1. A Sinner's Mission. The Pope was at lunch with boisterous relatives in the Archbishop's residence in Turin. "Eat, Giorgio," the old lady told him. No, I have to watch myself," he protested, refusing a second helping as the 6 cousins and their families, more than 30 people in all, roared with laughter. It was June 2015. Even before his election 2 years earlier, Francis had lost the lanky, tall figure he had had for decades in Buenos Aires, and now at 78, with the sciatica pills and the pasta, and no longer being able to callejer, to walk the streets, as he used to, he had filled out. But not for Signora Carla. "But what do you live off?" she remonstrated. "You eat nothing." He is a Pope of the people, for the people, but most of all, he is a Pope with the people. It is what everyone, admirers and enemies alike, notices about Francis. His natural affinity with the human race, the way he turns people you wouldn't look at twice into subjects and protagonists. Some say he is a populist in an age of populists, but that is to misunderstand populism. He is not using his at-oneness with the people to create power, for he rejects that kind of power. He does not offer boundaries to protect people from perceived threats, but doors and bridges to expand their possibilities. He is captivating and energetic, but humble. He makes mistakes and asks forgiveness. His mission is to take the Church to the people, in order to not just save the people, but to save the Church. The people, he likes to say,